Hey, fellow entrepreneurs out there. Oh my goodness, the love already. Listen, y'all, it's all about knowing your worth and preserving your value. That's the conversation for today. I'm going to talk to you about one of 5 entrepreneurial success secrets that you can actually try right now. But before we get there, let's start here. Hello. My name is LaShanda Henry, aka Sister Sense, and my goal is to help you learn how to start and grow, GRO, your business online. Now, hopefully you know that when I say GRO, for me, it's all about things that you can do to generate revenue online by strategically working on GRO, your goals, your routines, and your offers. So I am here to share with the lovely Miss Prinneman, giving me all that love, all those puppy kisses. And what I want you to do is feel free to, number one, share this out, because of course, sharing is what it's all about. And you can tag a business bestie who needs to hear this today. So throughout today and the next few days, I'm going to share some awesome success secrets with you, things that you can do as entrepreneurs to work on your money, marketing, and sales goals right now. So first one, as I mentioned, was you've got to know your value, and you've got to preserve your worth. This is a really important conversation, okay? Especially for those of you who say, look, I'm giving it all away for free, or I feel like I have to deep discount because they say they can't afford me. They don't want to pay me, right? If you feel the struggle is real when it comes to getting what you're worth, or if you feel you're only getting a little bit, but you're not consistently generating money, honey, then you are in for a treat, because that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. So first thing that I want to do, because I've got 3 different examples that I want to share with you. First thing that I'm going to do is read out a message from April Beverly. She's Babs. She is a not a transcriber. She's a copywriter. She slings those 6 and 7 figure words for her clients. Absolutely love Babs. She's actually one of the Back to Business virtual conference experts who has spoken as part of Back to Business, and fingers crossed, you guys will be able to hear her once again as far as this year's Back to Business virtual conference. So if you know Babs, shout her out. You can even tag her and say, hey, we're talking about you here today, April Beverly. But if not, you're in for a treat. All right. So she posted this. She is a service professional. She's a copywriter. She has a great team. She helps her clients and customers create copy that converts into multiple figures. Okay. So she had a consultation with a potential client, a discovery session. And so she talked about what happened in that discovery session. Any service professionals in the building, let me know. Drop into the comment box, number 1. Number 2, any of you offer discovery sessions, free sessions where you are working to kind of let people know how you can work with them? I've done a few of those in the past myself. Okay. So here is the message, right? So she says, meanwhile, in these wild and crazy internet streets, thank you so much for booking today's Word Styles inquiry call. Today, I'll take the next 15 minutes to answer any questions you may have about our writing services. So it's on you. What can I answer? So then the young lady says, so I really want to set up some sales email funnels. Can you tell me how to do that? Right? So she goes, most of the sales sequences we write are about 5 to 7 emails, which is standard, right? When you go to the website, you'll choose the email writing service and increase the quantity to 7. So that's what she says in response. So the young lady on the discovery call, she says, okay, I got it, but can you tell me how to map it out? So she wants to know how to do a sales funnel, right? And she says, well, when we write the sequence, we'll include guidance on when you send out each email. The entire sequence will be done for you. This is what she does as a service, right? So the young lady says, but what if I want to do it myself? This is what Babs says. Then I'll shift this to a consultation and we'll pause so I can send you an invoice. So the young lady says, invoice? Or I can send you my Apple Pay, a PayPal, credit card, if you prefer. And the young lady is like, now, This is definitely one of those moments that any service professional out there can relate to. You're doing a discovery session to see if you could potentially acquire a new client. You've got some amazing services. Like I said, April Beverly, she is the word stylist here, okay? And so she's trying to educate the person on how it works when it comes to working with her to put these sales funnels together. This person is obviously trying to get a free discovery 15-minute session and turn it into a free consultation on how they can learn how to do sales funnels. And she said, hold up, wait a minute. Let me put some hot sauce in it. She's like, look, there's two things that we can do. Either I can talk to you about how me and my team can put this together for you, or we could pause a second. You want to do a consultation? Let me send you over an invoice so that you can pay for consultation services. And then I can talk to you about how you can DIY your own email sales funnel. Pay me. One of my favorite memes out there is, look, you can pick my brain once that invoice gets paid. Y'all seen that meme out there? You can pick my brain once that invoice get paid. Now, just out of curiosity, because I see the hearts and the likes and the love, what's one of your favorite entrepreneur quotes or memes that you've seen out there that you just love? It makes you laugh, it hits home, it resonates. Feel free to drop that into the comment box. But of course, make sure that you write down somewhere, you can pick my brain once that invoice gets paid, because some of you guys are struggling and you're not making as much money as you would like to because you fall into the trap of letting other people dictate to you what they want. Great example of that. Some people, they don't do this to be aggressive, but a lot of times people will say to me, hey, LaShanda, I'd love to ask you a couple of questions. Here's my number. Give me a call. No, boo. That's not how this works. Feel free to send me your question and I'll do my best to point you in the right direction. And of course, if you would like to, you can go over to callme.sizzlesense.com to schedule a call with me. See, you got to know your worth and preserve your value. I can tell you a few things, but I ain't going to break it all the way down for you for free. That's not how this rodeo works, right? You see, you've got to have some sort of system. You've got to have some sort of way of really communicating your worth to people and understanding what it takes to get what you are worth, right? One of the things that people say to me is, I don't know how to turn off the tap. I don't know how to not give it all away. Anybody struggle with that? I'm so smart. And they just want it for free. Trust me. In the past, I've done discovery sessions that were supposed to be 20 minutes. It turned into 2 hours. In sessions where I gave them everything because I thought if I told them everything, they would buy. Sessions where it went from a discovery session to a therapy session. Ladies crying on the phone with me, telling me about every single tragedy. And I'm thinking that I'm supposed to help them and support them and connect to them and help them in some way. And in some cases, some of them folks are crying because they want you to feel bad for them. They want you to give them everything. This is not their first rodeo. They know how to manipulate people to get what they want for free. And you sitting here thinking, cry me a river. I need to understand them. I need to help them. I need to support them. You need to have clear boundaries. You need to know that not every person out there is your person. I'm not here for everybody. I'm here for the right bodies. That's one of the things that I like to say. And in order for you to understand that, you've got to position yourself in a way where you can support them without hurting feelings. You can support them without closing, cutting off the line, but you've got to be clear about where the buck stops. So number one, know your value, preserve your worth. Number two, where does the buck stop? How much information, what kind of information are you willing to share and give away for free before you say, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you this right now. And if you want more, here's an invoice, how you can schedule a call with me, how we can work together in 14265 in XYZ capacity, right? You got to make sure that is clear. You got to make them aware of the distinction between those boundaries. Okay, that's the first thing that I want you to do. So number one, I want, for those of you out of curiosity, anybody do discovery sessions? I believe in them. I believe in discovery sessions, consultation, so you can talk to people directly, number one, and number two, so that you can get better at helping people. But I've made the mistake of oversharing and overgiving, and I want to make sure that if you want to be a successful entrepreneur when it comes to selling your services, when it comes to coaching and consulting, you understand the significance between clear boundaries and knowing when too much is too much, right? Again, you can pick my brain long as that invoice gets paid. There are folks out there who they've built businesses off of stuff that I've given them in coffee shop conversations because I didn't understand my value. And I didn't understand that I was supposed to be charging, documenting, and making sure when they go out there and say, look at what I've done, LaShanda is getting noted because I'm the one who gave them that information. Know your value, know your worth, right? So let's talk about that. By the way, y'all, there are two things that I want to share with you. April Beverly is amazing. She is so great when it comes to transcribing. I keep saying transcribing. When it comes to creating copy, transcribing is one thing, but when it comes to writing copy, she's amazing. Definitely follow her on Instagram, April Beverly, APRYL, April Beverly. She is the word stylist, one of the amazing Back to Business experts. If you want to be a part of this year's Back to Business virtual conference, every year in October, I have the virtual conference so I can share some amazing sister girl women entrepreneurs. They're melanin magic. They're monetized their melanin magic gifts. Share that with you. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you early register for Back to Business. Two ways you can do that, either inside of my Labor Day sale over at sistersense.com/sale. Write that down because that's going to go away in a few days. And if that closes by the time you watch this, you can also go over to sistersense.com/ sale is one. And then the other one is backtobusiness.me. That's where you'll learn all the details about this year and every year's conference. Our focus this year is getting ready for revenue, which is why over the course of the next few days, I'm going to share some success secrets of real entrepreneurs that you guys can do today. So today's conversation is about identifying what your worth is, making sure that if you're giving too much away, you stop that today so you can strategically move forward. Okay, so first thing I want you to do is think about those instances if you've ever done free sessions or discovery sessions and people have got way too much from you. I want you to be able to sit down, really get self-aware, get clear about what went wrong in those conversations so that you can rework it and get better for the future. Now, first thing I said was know your worth, preserve your value. Second thing, understand where the buck stops, how much you're going to give away for free versus when you say, okay, it's time for you to pay. Understand, for me, number 3 here, when it comes to this conversation, is being in a space where you realize that the ball is not in your court, it needs to be in their court. What does that mean? What does that mean? When people say, hey, LaShanda, here's my number, call me. Or when people say, well, here's the question, answer it. They're putting the ball in your court. And they're like, you got to give me the best price because there's other people around, or you got to give me all the answers I want, because if you don't give me the answers I want, I'm not going to pay, right? They throw the ball in your court, and then you feel kind of powerless to them because you're trying to find the right price to work for them, or you're trying to give them all the information to appeal to them, to get them excited, to show them what you know, to convince them that you're the right person. What you got to do, one of my favorite tricks, one of my favorite secrets is to throw the ball back in their court. Here's the reality of the situation. I'm going to give you this much information. If you want more, you can either research it, you can Google it, you can YouTube it, or you can go and schedule a session with me. There's only but so much I'm going to give you before I say, hey, the buck stops here. The ball is back in your court. You can do the research, but if you want what I got, if you want to know how I do it, you got to invest to talk to me. Throw the ball back in their court. Here's another strategy. I did a project last week, and this project was inspired by the Back to Business virtual conference. It was called the Pick 3 Project. I do it once a year, and I say, look, I've got all of these great solutions and tools and products and trainings. Pick 3, purchase it, There you go, right? So I did that last week and I made about a little over 3,000 in 3 days, right? Which was pretty awesome because I said, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to share these things and see who signs up. Now, here's the reality of the situation. You can put something out there and say, this is how much it costs, and then see what happens. Or you can go, man, how many of you have done this? I want to put it out there, but how much should I charge? I got to find a price that's going to work for everybody, right? Right? So you find yourself stuck and you want to sell it, but you don't know what price to put on it because you're trying to appeal to everybody. Anybody ever found themselves stuck in that? My solution when it comes to throwing the ball in their court is always to offer good, better, best. So you have the opportunity to pick the price point that works for you. As a matter of fact, I had a client who, there was a young man came to me and said, LaShanda, I love the website that you did for my organization. Now I need you to do another website for me, right? And I said, okay, well, based on what you want, it's 3,000. And then he went, oh, this is great. But you know, you did the other website. So can I get a discount? I mean, as a service professional, it happens, right? He's throwing it in my court. You want more business from me, don't you, LaShanda? You got to give me a discount. I already gave you another project. I don't got to do nothing but be black and beautiful, okay? So look, no, keeping it real, keeping it serious. What I said to him is, look, I would love to be in a position to give you this particular package at a discount, but I can't. Here is what I can do for you. I can take this away, this away, this away, this away, and now you can get this package that was $3,000 either for $1,500 or for $1,000. And he was like, but I want that, and I want that, and I want that. So you know what? I think I'm gonna pay the $3,000. Okay. Okay. Put the ball back in their court, okay? It's not about me doing $3,000 worth of work for you for $1,000 because I'm be angry. How many of you as service professionals found yourself in the hangry mode? You ever seen those commercials of folks where they hungry, angry? They just mad at the world because they hungry and they angry and they need something to eat, right? You hangry when you give people your best at a reduced rate and you're like, you were desperate for that little bit of money, but now you got all this work to do. They happy because they got over on you and you still struggling. And you can't see why you can't bring in consistency. See, if I'm going to do less and make less, it's because I gave you a smaller package. That's how it works. I'm not going to make less and do more. That doesn't work. That math does not equate for me. Right? So number one, I said, you got to know your value. You got to preserve your worth. Number two, you have to know where the buck stops. Number three, you got to throw that ball back in their court. So when they try to pin you up in a corner and say, well, you got to give me the best price. You got to answer every single question. I don't do that. I don't do that. I ask you questions. I give you the opportunity to select the price point that I've offered and you get what you want. Because you know what I've learned, especially as a sister girl entrepreneur who folks used to tug at my heartstring and tell me they're on public assistance and do all kinds of stuff. The same people, and I ain't lying. I had one client way back in the day. She was on public assistance. She had quite a few kids. And the reality of the situation was I felt so bad. I discounted my web services for her because I was like, she's in this situation. Why you studying her money? Because the reality is that she told me, she said, girl, you know, as soon as I get my check, I'm paying you. And I was like, your check is for other things. Why would you take that check to pay? Don't study what she's doing with her money. Okay. She going to school. She taking care of her kids. She eating. She know what she doing with her public assistance money. Now you trying to deep discount your stuff because you all up in your feelings. You studying her pocketbook and her life. That has nothing to do with you. She is a customer. She's a client. She is not you. She ain't your relative. She ain't your mama. She ain't your sister. And guess what? If you not charging her what you're worth, she gonna go and pay somebody else because she still needs the work done, right? So I did the work for her at a reduced rate. And then as I was working with her and understanding that my price point, I could have charged her way more. She still would have paid it. She still would have paid it. She didn't ask me to reduce my price. I did it because I was studying what was going on in her life, which was none of my business. My only business needed to be my business. Who making that mistake? Who is making that mistake? You studying what's going on in their life, or they want to tell, because I've learned this. When I was a new entrepreneur, I used to feel a certain way because, folks tell me now I understand what it means to be an empath. I am very empathetic to people, so they would pull at my heartstrings and I would bend over backwards to accommodate. And now here's the thing. You also find yourself where you're in a place where good enough is good enough and you discount because you're trying to make it. You will always be in struggle mode if you always undervalue yourself. You're never going to be in a place of consistency and elevation. So you think you're doing them a service. You think you're being a good Christian and a good person, but you find yourself consistently struggling because you never set clear boundaries and know where the buck stops. I went from struggling to make just a few hundred or just a few thousand to understanding what it takes to get to 4 and 5 figures consistently through that message alone. Mind my business, not theirs. Yes, you can sit there and tell me every single thing. You sick, something's happening with your mama, your kids is crazy. And sometimes people will subconsciously tell you those things, not because they need an outlet of somebody to listen to, because subconsciously they're hoping you will give them something for free. You'll bend over backwards, you'll accommodate. And then when you get them heartstrings pulled, you're not realizing that it's a con. Whether they do it consciously or subconsciously, it is still a con. It is still a means of, if I play the victim card, somebody's going to feel bad for me and help me. And I'm not trying to talk about anybody specifically. I'm just trying to say, as an entrepreneur and a service professional, I understand that one of the biggest success secrets is not being cold-hearted, because I'm not a cold-hearted person. I'm a very giving person. But understand that the buck has to stop somewhere. You've got to have clear boundaries. You got to know when to say, you can pick my brain once that invoice get paid, without hesitation, without fear of resistance or retaliation. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about me. It's about the legacy that I'm trying to create. It's about the boundaries that I need to set to get where I want to be in the future. So when I say that to you, I want you to number 3 here. I want you to think about instances where you felt like people put you up against a corner because they wanted a certain price, or they wanted you to ask a bunch of questions. Now, for the Pick 3 in 3 days, like I said, I made a little over $3,000. And what I'm going to be doing as part of the Back to Business virtual conference, because this year the topic is ready for revenue. I am going to be sharing with you the strategies that I use and something like a Pick 3, so that number 1, I'm not giving it all away. So that number 2, I'm throwing the ball in their court. And rather than me picking my brain, pulling my hair out, trying to figure out the perfect price, I'm able to, using a 1-page sales funnel, give people options that allow them to find what works for them. And I don't have to deep discount myself, and I don't have to limit myself to just a certain amount. I can make as much as a matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you, for Pick 3, the price points range to the point where there were some people who invested $30 for the Pick 3, and there were some people who purchased from me as part of my Pick 3 3-day experience for $600. So I had clients that ranged from $30 to $600 on 1 page. And I'm going to break down the page for you, the process and the strategies as part of Back to Business. So make sure you're a part of that. And again, like I mentioned before, you can early register for Back to Business as either part of my Labor Day sale, which you can learn more about over at sizzlesense.com/sale. Or if that's closed, when you watch this, you can go over to backtobusiness.me to register to participate live for the VIP day and also the replays, because it's always great to go back and dig into those replays. Okay. So the last thing that I'm going to share here with you is number 4 on this list is creating a space to make more money. You want to grow, GRO, you want to generate more revenue online. One of the things that you've got to do is you've got to create a space to make more. So whether you're watching me live or via the replays, and of course, make sure if you're watching me on the replay side, drop into the comment box, #replaysrock. I want you to answer this question. What is your most expensive product? Let's do like Jeopardy. Y'all know that Jeopardy music, right? One of the things that I want you to do is I want you to think about right now, your most expensive product. That's number one. And number two, what I want you to do is to feel free to drop that into the comment box for me. I want you to think about whether or not that expensive product that you've got, is it actually available for sale right now? Okay. So, hey, Lavon, hey, Rhonda, hi, Anissa, my lovely ladies in the building. I'm actually just taking 2 seconds to share this out. So feel free to share this because, of course, sharing is caring, or tag somebody who needs to hear this. So what's your most expensive product right now? Number one. And number two, is it available for sale? Okay. So yesterday was Wednesday, and Wednesdays is my clarity call day. By the way, if you ever wanted to check in and have a private one-on-one call with me, like I mentioned before, you can go to callme.sistasense.com. So I was working with one of my clients, and this is all about success, right? You got to know your value and know your worth. One of the things that you guys have to do, if you want to make more and you really want to dig into your value, you have to create spaces where you're getting more profit per sale. So I was talking about with my client, she said, there are certain products I want to create for the final quarter and the new year. Let's get it. And we were having this conversation. And so I said to her yesterday, well, what's your most expensive product? And she kind of scratched her head. She was like, that's a hard question. That's a hard question. I don't know. How many of you go, wait, I don't know what that is? You need to think about it. That's number one. Number two, she said to me, okay, wait, I got to think about that. Okay, well, okay, I have this product, right? And I think it was about a $50 product, right? And then she goes, actually, I do have this product, and this is probably my most expensive one. But I took it down because I was like, people are not going to buy that. They're not going to want to buy that. They're going to say they can't afford it. So I took it down. So that one's not available. But the one that is, this is the most expensive one. It's about $50, right? So I said to her, I need you to, we talked. One of the things I do in my clarity calls is I ask you a series of questions to pull out your good, as I call it, right? So I was asking her questions, pulling out her good. And I said, well, based on this and this and this and this, here's a product that you can put together. And this is going to be $1,000 product. And then also you can offer them this at 1,000, this at 2,000, right? So we did that product. And she was like, whoo, okay. And it didn't feel uncomfortable, because one of the things I've got to talk to you guys about when it comes to pricing is discomfort. My hubby is a true man. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Me being an empath, I was always like, I can only charge $50 or $100 because they won't pay for more and they can't afford more. And he's like, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. You need to charge more. How many people out there, they know people, whether it's somebody in their private circle or maybe another coach or consultant, and all they're telling you is you just need to charge more. But you know in your heart, you don't want to do it. Subconsciously, you scared to do it, so you don't do it, or you do it with hesitation. If you don't create a clear, positive, confident place where you're confident behind charging 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, you're never going to get that money. If you don't put it out there, you're never going to get that money. Let's just make that clear. But you can't just put it out there and put a number on it because so-and-so said, put that number on it. If you're not confident in the number and you're not confident in what you're selling and charging for that number, you're never going to get that money. That's some of the things you need to talk about. When you talk about the secret and the law of attraction, when it comes to money, confidence is a part of that. So for years, even though my hubby was saying, well, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, you got to charge more. It took me a while to build my confidence and understand how to create products with high price points that I was really confident in. And I do have a training on how to sell high price point products. So if you go, LaShanda, I need that training, just email me, right? sistasense@gmail.com. But so when I was talking to her and I said, well, here's a product that you can sell at 1,000. Here's a product that you can sell at 2,000. Here's a product that you've got your $50 product. Let's triple X your success, because that's one of my trainings on how to triple your success in different levels. Now let's take this $50 product and turn it into a $150 product. every single level, the 150, the 1000, the 2000, she was not feeling discomfort. She was not feeling hesitant. She clearly felt confident in her ability to double, triple, and in some cases 10x, right? 10x the price point when you take something that is like $100 and then you 10x it to 1,000. She felt confident based on the questions, the process, and the client base that we were connecting those products to. And I said, let me ask you something. Well, not ask, but I said, let me explain something to you. You cannot get what you don't put out. So if you want to get $1,000, you know, I did the pick three, right? And I told you guys I made a little over 3,000 in 3 days, right? You want to make four figures in a couple of days or in an hour or two. That means you got to have 4 and 5 figure products that you're confident about. And I said, I know this is a simple statement, but it's really hard for a lot of people. And she goes, oh my God. She's like, so I'm sitting here selling $50 products and going, how come I'm not making more? But you're saying I don't have anything that costs more than $50 to sell. Ding, ding, ding. There are other things that you can do to get more people to buy that $50 product. But one of the things that's affecting you is the fact that you don't have more products at higher price points. And I have a few people who, when I say, hey, who has a $1,000 product? They go, well, damn, I don't have one. Well, then you need to get one. You need to think about one. You can even sit down and talk to me because I pulled out of her a few questions and then she answered them. And based on those answers, I was able to help her turn that $50 product into a $150 and then also create a $1,000 and a $2,000 product. I do that with clients all the time. And I'm able to do that because I know what it's like to undervalue and undercharge and feel uncomfortable asking for more because there was some confidence and self-esteem and decision-making issues that I had to process. For me, I'm going to be honest, and this is not about cocky, it's about confidence here. I feel like a lot of times I'm the better person to talk to than the person who just out of the gate says charge more, because if you struggle with charging more, they can't relate to you. They're like, why would you not want to charge more? You want to make 4 and 5 figures a month, don't you? Hello, raise your prices, right? But they don't understand all of the hesitation that goes behind that, all of the anxiety and self-doubt and difficulty when it comes to decision-making that goes behind charging more. And I understand that because I've been doing this for almost 20 years and I've been there, right? I've been where you might be. So when it comes to understanding this conversation around knowing your value and preserving your worth, that is, for me, one of the ultimate things that you got to do. You got to ask yourself, have I created a space where I am in a position to get more money? Right? So I want you to ask you, and feel free, again, whether you're watching live or via the replay, to drop into the comment box and let me know, what is your most expensive offer? And is that offer actually available? Because that's the catch here. It's not that you've got an offer and it's sitting there and nobody can see it. It's something that is available that you're selling, that if somebody says, I'm ready for it, you got it. Okay. So like I mentioned before, there are a few things that I want to share with you, but hold on. Let me just pause for a second to see what you guys are saying to me. I would have told them that 3,000 is the discount. I love that, right? I'll do that next time. Right? Don't study their money. Yes, Monique, that's a great tip. Feel free to share your tips, your success secrets, your messages, right, that have really resonated with you as an entrepreneur. Feel free to drop those in there as well. And Monique shares her tip is don't study their money. I'm going to continue to share some success secrets of real entrepreneurs that you can do today. The most expensive is websites. It is the most expensive is websites. It is available. That must have been based on something I was saying earlier. Okay, so let's quickly recap this message for today. I gave you guys a few action steps that I want you to do when it comes to understanding your value and preserving your worth. So the first thing around that I said is know where the buck stops. How much are you willing to give away for free versus what you're going to say, okay, you got to pay me. Before you pick my brain, you got to pay this invoice, right? And I gave you the great example of April Beverly. Make sure that you follow her, APRYL Beverly. She is the ultimate word stylist, one of the amazing Back to Business Power Circle experts. Hopefully you guys get to hear her once again as part of the Back to Business virtual conference this year. Make sure that you know where the buck stops. Number two, make sure that you throw that ball back in their court. When they tell you that they can only afford a certain amount, they need this, to fit their budget, or they need you to answer 55 questions, right? And you're giving too much away. Stop it. Throw the ball back in their court. Understand that you should be asking them questions, number one. Understand that, number two, you should be offering them a variety of good, better, best price points. So as opposed to you picking your brain, pulling your hair out, trying to figure out the best price for everybody, you give them some options so they can pick the best price for them, right? Without you having to deep discounts or do too much for too little. That was number two. Then I said to you, be in a place where you understand what it means to, what's the next one we said here? Be in a place, yes, be in a place where you understand what it means to generate your ideal amount of revenue without feeling like you have to limit your client base. So there are some people out there who they only charge high price points, and other people who only charge low price points. And I gave you the example of the pick three, where I was able to generate a little over 3,000 in 3 days. I'm going to talk about how I did that in more detail inside the Back to Business virtual conference. But one of the starter recommendations I gave was understanding the significance of product variations. And so literally pick three ranged from $30 to $600. So I didn't have to go, oh, here's one price. Hopefully they like it. Hopefully it's cheap enough. I knew my value. I knew my worth. So premium was $600. Budget friendly was $30, and people could pick what they wanted in between. I'll break down the whole thing, the one-page sales funnel, and all of that good inside of Back to Business. The next thing that I talked about is honestly creating a space where you're generating more. If your most expensive product is $1 or $7 or $10 or $50, that's where you've capped yourself. You've got to create a space for more by creating higher price point offers and understanding how to do that with confidence, right? How to do that with courage, and how to do that in a way that appeals to your existing audience. So again, those are some things that I'm going to be breaking down inside of Back to Business, but I wanted to give you some starter steps, some starter questions so that you can ask yourself, well, what is my most expensive product, right? How often am I selling that? And when I think about my most expensive products, is it just something that's in my head or in my notebook or something that's on my website, but it's quietly tucked away in a corner so nobody sees it? They can't buy what you don't put out, right? You ain't selling because you ain't selling. If it's not visible, if you haven't created a space for more, you're going to struggle to get more. Okay, so those are some things that I wanted to share with you today. And like I mentioned before, this is one of 5 real success secrets that you guys can start today. So today, number 1, I want you to really identify where you devalue yourself, where you give too much away for free, where you are taking opportunities where people pay you or want to pay you, but you're struggling because they're in power. They set the price, they set the tone, and you're feeling powerless to wanting some profit, right? So we want you to be able to take back your power, to be in control, be confident, and to offer people rates that work for you and work for them too, because ultimately that's what it's all about. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. Feel free to email sistersense@gmail.com if you have any questions. I will continue throughout today, tomorrow, for the next few days to share these success secrets with you from real entrepreneurs like myself. So if you want to dig into some great sessions that I'm going to be speaking as well, because I'm the host of Back to Business, or some amazing women entrepreneurs like April and some of the great sister girls in my circle, we are going to talk to you about some things you can do to work on your money marketing and your sales goals too. 4, 5, 6, 7-figure sisters. I can't wait for this year's Back to Business virtual conference. Make sure that you either early register as part of the sistersense.com/sale. We've got the Labor Day sale going on right now. Again, sistersense.com/sale. Or if that is gone, because that does go away in a few days, you can also go over to backtobusiness.me to learn more about registering for just the live, for the live and the replays, or the live, the replays, plus the VIP day in which I take you inside of my Print Your Profits virtual workshop. E. Michelle says, I have some premium packages available, but not selling it. And that's a big thing. You want to identify, even if you have premium, but you ain't pushing the premium, what are you missing? One of my favorite acronyms, AIMS. Am I missing something? What are you missing? Where is the disconnect, so that you're sure you've created the space for more and you're putting yourself out there as much as you can, right? MORE, more, is actually one of my signature Sister Sense acronyms, means master your originality, your reach, and engagement. Master originality, reach, engagement. You got to do more if you want to make more. And of course, as you always know, I'm always here to help you learn how to start and grow. GRO, get rich online, by GRO, learning to generate revenue online, which means that ultimately GRO, you got to focus on your goals, your routines, and your offers. So those are a few signature Sister Sense acronyms, just dropping those there. And again, I will come back on here to share a little bit later today. Until then, go forth, create amazing. Make sure that you guys take a look at the Labor Day sale and the Back to Business virtual conference, because we are going to have a good time. Okay, till next time, take care. Mwah.